Alright. So, I'm recording this in my car. I just haven't been able to find a good time to really record my thoughts on recent developments. In this video, I want to go over talking about MK1 being officially done and where they went wrong with MK1 in so many ways. So, recently they officially announced, officially made a statement that Mortal Kombat 1 isn't going to be getting any more new content in the future. As far as content goes, they are done. However, we can still expect future balance patches. How big a balance patch is, how meaningful, how many, don't really know, but I won't be surprised if we only get like a couple more patches and that's it, like done, nothing else. This statement that they put out was following, a few days after they announced their definitive edition of Mortal Kombat 1. So that in itself was basically like a statement that they were done with the game, which none of this really comes to surprise for me. In large because of the leaker that we had, Fate Unknown, who never was wrong, and maybe potentially they were wrong at some points of their last leak before they decided to stop doing what they're doing. But I actually, it really doesn't matter here or there, but I still believe their last leak actually being true. I think we were going to get another story expansion. I think we were going to get a Combat Pack 3 with those characters that Fate Unknown leaked, being Sonya, Kano, Cassie Cage, Kunjin, and I'm forgetting who the other one was. Jade. Jade was the other one. And then another guest, yet to be decided upon guest character. None of that matters because, as he said, that all got basically because of the flop of Chaos Reigns. I don't know if I would say it's a complete flop, but to WB, it did not sell as good as they wanted it to. So it really comes to no surprise that this was the end. I was actually expecting it to be the end, primarily based off of Fate Unknown's last leak. I still think that last leak probably was 100% true or mostly true. But like I said, it doesn't matter here or there. The fact is, MK1 is done, and this has got to be one of the most disappointing Mortal Kombats ever to me personally. I'm not sure I would say it's the most personally, as someone that's been playing the series since 1992. That has played from the very beginning. It's definitely down there as one of my most disappointing entries of the series to me. And really, right now, like, as far as recent months has gone, I haven't even been playing Mortal Kombat 1. I actually got off the game. I was giving this game chance after chance after chance for a year and a half, and it just did not deliver. The only reason why that kept me, sticking with it for a year and a half, well, two reasons really. First off, Mortal Kombat. Three reasons. Okay, so reason number one. First off, I'm a hardcore Mortal Kombat fan. Have been ever since Mortal Kombat's been a thing. Second, Mortal Kombat has been my, even though I play, I love Mortal Kombat, I play other fighting games too. But Mortal Kombat has been my main fighting game that I play consistently since Mortal Kombat 9. So since 2011. Okay. This is the first time in 14 years that I can say, not only am I playing a different fighting game, but I am pretty sure I'm not gonna be going back to Mortal Kombat as far as Mortal Kombat 1 goes. Now, I might go back to it and still play it. I'll still go back to it and play it here and there a little, casually, I'm sure. But as far as, investing real time into it, I'm pretty much done with the game. And a lot of that is because I've been enjoying the hell out of Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. For those that are still on the fence about it, don't believe all the negative press out there, oh, this game's a flaw, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this game is doing just fine, and it's the best modern day fighting game that there is right now, hands down, without a doubt. It's just, the gameplay of it is literally that good. But this isn't about Fatal Fury, this is about Mortal Kombat 1. So, where did they go wrong with Mortal Kombat 1? I think they went wrong with Mortal Kombat 1 in so many ways. Honestly, you could say pretty much just about every aspect of the game, they went wrong to an extent. Visually, the game looks great, but it doesn't actually look as good as what the very first announced trailer set expectations for. Now, of course, I didn't expect it to look as good as that first announced trailer, but I didn't expect it to be closer to that than we got. Second, let's see, audio-wise, I feel like the game sounds pretty good. I actually like the music, though I'm just going to throw it out there that a lot of people do criticize that the music doesn't fit the Mortal Kombat vibe that, most fans are seeking with the series. All in all, I think the music is actually pretty good, and I don't mind the voice acting. I actually don't really have any complaints about the audio personally. Now, the story and characters, that was, I don't know how the hell Ed Boon signed off on the story going this route with this new era. I was excited because I thought there was new hope with this game story-wise. I feel like with MK11, and really we've been in a iffy situation story-wise since MK9 with the whole time travel thing, but I felt like with MK11, that's when things story-wise really started going in the wrong direction and brought us to where we're at now in this new era, and then trying to change things for what reasons? Just to be different for some reason, as if how things weren't working before. Basically, they were trying to fix something that wasn't broke, and so they broke it. The lore of Mortal Kombat is literally at an all-time low right now. Like, nobody gives a shit about Mortal Kombat's story anymore because they ruined what it is as far as where we're at the moment. And we're not going to get all into every single aspect of how they ruined it. You just play through story mode. I mean, Mortal Kombat isn't even like the Mortal Kombat tournament. It's not. It's like a shell of its former self. It doesn't even. None of it feels right. They're having a Mortal Kombat tournament, yet the tournament doesn't even feel proper at all because of how things are set up. There's a tournament without deaths and stuff, and like there's no real consequences. It feels like with the tournament, it just feels like it's just like they're doing it for show more than actually life and death situation. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't hold weight. And then the whole pacing of the whole story in general, and what they did with Reptile and Baraka, and it's just ridiculous. The writing, a lot of it comes down to the writing is crap. I mean, for example, I know a lot of people like how Reptile is in this game story-wise for him, being on the good side and whatnot. But I feel like they just wrote him very poorly. And this is just an example for their shit writing throughout the story on both the main game and the expansion. So Reptile is basically being Shang Tsung's bitch in this game, and it's because he has Reptile's family held hostage, basically. Well, Reptile finds out that, Shang Tsung already killed him. He wasn't actually holding them hostage at all. He just killed them. So now he wants, is joined up with the good guys and has motive to want to go against Shang Tsung, right? 2 minutes later, this reptilian bastard falls in love with a demon from the Nether Realm, Ashra. It's like, what the hell? The dude just lost his wife and kids. And then 2 minutes fucking later, he basically just, it's like they didn't matter. He's apparently in a relationship with Ashra, a demon from the Nether Realm. And it just feels so forced and unnecessary, and shits on that whole aspect of, hey, Reptile actually had a family, and hey, Shang Tsung killed him. Hey, Reptile has motive to be a good guy and stand up against these sorcerers and all that. Just took a whole big dump on it by, hey, we gotta have Ashra and Reptile are kind of different from one another and everybody else. Let's make them a couple for no reason. Anyways, the story is just shit. The lore of Mortal Kombat is something I actually care very much about, and it's at an all-time low right now where I don't even see anyone at all have any speculation or hype or talk, conversations about, what's going to happen in the story next, or where's this going to go, what's going to, how's this going to play out? Nobody cares because it's trash. The only way that they can fix this, in my opinion, is to get back to the original timeline. And they can do that so easily. It's not rocket science. You can make up any bullshit reason. For example, let's see, off the top of my head, Fire God Liu Kang has a conversation with Garrus, realizes, his way isn't the right way. Realizes maybe Chronica there was something to Kronika's vision and actual good reason why she kept resetting history. And maybe Liu Kang, you could have Liu Kang and Garrus come to the conclusion like, well, maybe we got to go back to this point in time where things got fucked up, Armageddon, going back to Armageddon basically, and, fix, this one part in Armageddon and have the story continue on from there. And Kronika's the keeper of time once again, but then she just, isn't like a visually there or playing an active role or anything. She's just, it's just Kronika's master of time, and we're going to stop with that time bullshit, and it'll continue on with the story from Armageddon onward. Like, we're going to fix this shit, or, maybe even go right there in between Deception and Armageddon, maybe, somewhere around that time. It's so easy. They could do something like that, or come up with some other BS, reason that, to go back to the original timeline and just do shit the right way without the stupid time and multiverse crap. Characters in this game, one of the highlights, I would say, positive highlights of Mortal Kombat 1 is also a negative at the same time, and it's the characters. Specifically the returning characters that never had a proper return before from like the 3D era, MK4, so we got Reiko, we got Havoc, Ashura, Nitara, Li Mei. So, I really like that they brought back a lot of those characters. For a lot of those returning characters, this is their first proper return. And some of them, though, some of the characters in this game just don't feel like the actual character. So, for example, Havoc. Awesome that they brought Havoc back. I actually think Havoc was one of the most fun characters to play in the game, in my opinion. But this Havoc is not the actual Havoc from the past Mortal Kombat, from the original timeline. Matter of fact, they actually made it so that this is Dairu who becomes Havoc. So he's two characters in one, basically. He just doesn't bring off the right vibe and the right, he doesn't pull. He's not the same Havoc's not the same person. It's just not the same. Another example, even though, she's been in multiple games, Tanya. Tanya does not feel like Tanya in this game. When you compare Tanya, MK1 Tanya, like character-wise, to Tanya in all the past games, this is not fucking Tanya. This is a completely different character, completely different person with the same name who also likes yellow. Alright? It's not the same character. Like, with how they act and everything. It's just not the same. And that's not true for everyone, but there's multiple characters in this game that's the case. I mean, for God's sake, Scorpion's not even fucking Hanzo Hasashi. Scorpion is literally Kuai Li Yang. How ridiculous is that? So anyways, overall, it's really disappointing how they messed up their chance to really get the lore and everything back on track with this game. and instead they just went down this terrible road that there's no hope for it. As long as we're in this new era timeline, the story will never, ever matter, no matter what they do, and will always be crap because of how they set things up in this first game. When they had the chance to get things right, they screwed it up tremendously. Moving on. What else have they screwed up in this game? Well, I guess we're just going to get into talking about the gameplay, you know? Moving on, let's get talking about the gameplay. First off, I'll just do a quick mention that, invasions mode, waste of resource, waste of their time and money, total crap mode. Nobody likes it. It's terrible. By this year, by 2025, I couldn't even bring myself to, by the time that they started repeating the seasons, I couldn't even bring myself to even play through them all properly. Like, when we had that first year, we had all the, each season was new. It was still crap, but I played through it at least just to play through it. Now that the seasons are repeating, even though they throw some new skins in here and there, it's all like, I don't really want to go through, I don't really want to be bothered with it because I have to go through that crappy mode. They eventually brought back Towers of Time, which I think was very awesome that they did that. I did not expect them to do that. But for a long time, for the first year, there was no Towers of Time. And honestly, that's like I don't care that much about Towers of Time. I didn't care about Towers of Time that much in MK11. And it's nice that it's there now. It's an improvement to the game. But it's still something I personally don't care about. I just really don't care about Towers of Time personally. It's a waste of time to me. I'd rather just be fighting people online. Pink Floyd, though, them adding in Pink Floyd, wow, that was the most hype and hypest time of this game was Pink Floyd coming out and being a secret character fight. And you got all these conditions to try to fight him and whatnot. I've fought him like 5 or 6 times now. Maybe even more than that. So I kind of burnt myself, I was having fun with it, fighting Floyd and whatnot, but burnt myself out a little bit, you could say. On just, doing the Floyd challenges over and over and fighting Floyd. But definitely that was a huge thing. And I would not be surprised to see the next Mortal Kombat game have a secret character in there day one. That was such without a doubt, easily the biggest hype that this game had ever gotten since release was Pink Floyd. And that's kind of sad, to be honest. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of it, of the actual gameplay, the actual fighting, the actual biggest issues with Mortal Kombat 1. And it all starts with the kameo system, of course. It's clear now that they just did not know what they were doing with this cameo system idea. And they've learned, and they're still learning, and there's only so much improvement that they can do with it, with how they got the cameo system coded in there, how it works. So if they were to do a cameo system or something like that in a future game, I would expect it to work a lot better and more fluidly and just be designed much better than it is right now for MK1 because of the lessons that they've been able to learn with it from MK1. But I hope to God, at least when it comes to Mortal Kombat, that it never, ever returns. Oh my God, I hate the cameo system. I love it on one hand because we got to see characters that we probably would never see, would have never seen, like on a main roster, like Motaro. We're never going to get Motaro as a fully playable character on the main roster, you know what I mean? So, getting the Motaro cameo, like, that's cool for Motaro. I've always been a fan of Motaro, so I like that. That's cool. Shujinko is another good cameo example. Shujinko probably would have never, a character that would probably never return on a main roster. And so him, though he's still in this game and in the cameo role, perfect, right? Mavado, one of my favorite characters all time, always has been since Deadly Alliance. But I know that he's been one of the least liked characters of all time. Well, I'm so glad to at least get him as a cameo in this game because I know the chances of him making a main roster, being a fully playable fighter in an MK game is very unlikely. So now that we got him as a cameo, and he's actually a very popular cameo pick, I wonder if Mavado actually has a legit chance to make a full, proper roster return in the future. I think the cameo system, that's the only benefit of it there, that it's allowed some characters to come back and have a shining spot in the game, spot to shine in the game, that without this system, they wouldn't have had any shining spot, most likely, in the game. You know what I mean? But the cameo system itself, in MK1, how it works, is shit. But the biggest problem with the cameo system is actually how it influenced the design of the main roster characters. As in, characters were designed to purposefully, intentionally, not have things in their kits, not have things in their movesets, so that this cameo, and that cameo, and this cameo can make up for them not having this or that. That was the idea. That was the concept. So what we got was, for the most part, a bunch of half-assed designed characters, just leaving everyone feeling, pretty much everyone feeling incomplete. As a Reptile main, just look at Reptile and how many times, I think Reptile's had more changes than any other character, and he still feels not right. Like, it still doesn't feel like he's all the way there where he should be. Doesn't feel proper. And he just feels not only is he missing things, or was missing things, and they have given him some stuff, but he's so backwards designed as well, having like high risk, low reward, low risk, high reward. What the fuck? That's backwards. But I digress. It's all the characters for the most part that just feel half-assed and lacking in their moveset designs. And I'm not sure who to blame, who's the main person to blame for that, but it's intentional that they were designed this way, to be lacking so that the cameos can pick up the slack. Instead of having a proper, fully made character, and then having the cameo system being a +1. That's why throughout most of the life, and I would argue still now, that a lot of cameos do most of the heavy lifting than the actual main fighter themselves in this game. That's not always the case. It depends on what team you're playing exactly, but that's still the case with certain teams, certain characters. And that's my biggest problem there. Is I made a video about it months ago, calling MK1 out for its lack of depth with the main roster fighters, and I still feel like there's still some depth missing there. Even though they've made great improvements. But yeah, they just, from the get-go, everything about Mortal Kombat 1 was just fucking backwards from how it should have been, in my opinion. The story, completely wrong. Characters, many characters with unnecessary changes that just, at the end of the day, feel like it was done for no real reason than just because. And then the actual gameplay just not being great because of half-assed made characters and a crappy cameo system. Crappy assist system. That, as I said, the game has improved tremendously. It's much improved today compared to what it was at launch. But it's still crap. I hate to say it, but it's still crap. I mean, when I did my review for this game, I think I gave it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. This game's more like a 5 out of 10, to be honest. I was giving it more benefit of the doubt back then, a couple months after it was released. A year and a half plus, this game's a 5 out of 10. It is crap for the most part. There's good things about it, but it's filled with crap. And I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, the characters, I think what bugs me the most is how the characters are they don't feel designed properly, feel half-assed, and I know it's the cameo system to blame for that, because the designers were told to intentionally make the main roster fighters' moves, make their designs half-assed so that the cameo system can pick up that other half, right? And then they just didn't know what they were doing with this cameo system. I hope it never comes back. I think it's terrible. MK1 is done. I'm done with MK1. We'll see what happens here in the future. I got more to talk about as far as my thoughts about what's going to happen in the future with NRS in their next game. So keep an eye out for that video, and I'll catch you guys later.